Again, thanks everybody for attending today. I'm Ann Mullen. We're going to get started. I am the Communications Director with the ACLU of Michigan. We're about to, I think I just saw a couple more people pop in. Okay, great. Just a couple technical housekeeping issues. If you haven't already, please put yourself on mute. We are streaming on our Reproductive Freedom for All Facebook page, and we're recording it as well. If you plan to share this video later, go to the top right corner and click on the speaker view so whoever's speaking takes up the full frame on Zoom. You'll have a better quality picture that way. Again, thank you for coming, and I'm going to turn it over to our ACLU of Michigan Executive Director, Lauren Kogali. Thanks. Lauren?
Apologize, I'm muted. Thank you everyone for joining us this morning. Today, the U.S. Supreme Court has overturned Roe versus Wade, destroying 50 years of legal precedent protecting the fundamental constitutional right to abortion. And though I know we were all expecting this, it was jarring to see in its finality this morning. In Michigan, abortion remains legal for now. We are one of many states that has a trigger ban, a 1931 law that bans abortion almost without exception. And though the court's decision today would resurrect that law, in Michigan, there's a statewide preliminary injunction in place that will stop that law from taking effect for now. I am heartbroken for the millions of people across the United States who are losing the sacred constitutional right to make decisions about their own bodies today. I am enraged on behalf of my daughters who will have to continue to fight for rights that have long been settled in this country. And I am grateful to be here with you because we are prepared to take this fight to the people of Michigan. For over a year, in anticipation of the very action that the U.S. Supreme Court took today, ACLU of Michigan, Michigan Voices, Planned Parenthood of Michigan, and our many coalition partners have been preparing to ensure that we could protect the rights of all people in Michigan to abortion access and to reproductive freedom. So, the Reproductive Freedom for All ballot initiative would amend the state constitution to protect the right to abortion and the right to make all decisions about pregnancy, including access to birth control, miscarriage care, infertility care. If nothing else comes from today, I hope that you hear how critical it is that the people in Michigan have the right to make the decision about their own bodily autonomy. Amending the state constitution would provide the most enduring protection to abortion and to reproductive freedom, and these next couple weeks are critical for the ballot initiative as we wrap up signature collection to put this on the November ballot. And so I'm going to turn this over to my colleagues, my truly esteemed colleagues who I would not want to be in this fight with anybody else. Summer Foster at Michigan Voices and Nicole Wells-Stallworth at Planned Parenthood of Advocates of Michigan to talk more about the impact of this decision and the ballot initiative. Nicole?
Thank you, Lauren, and thank you for your comments. And I'm going to echo a few things that you have said, and I'm going to start by just asking everyone to, I'm going to beg your pardon. This is an emotional issue, and we have been planning for this. However, seeing it in writing and really processing, we're still in the midst of that. So forgive us if we become overwhelmed with emotion. My name is Nicole Wells Stallworth. I am the Executive Director of Planned Parenthood Advocates of Michigan. And it is our job at Planned Parenthood Advocates of Michigan to preserve and enhance the ability of Planned Parenthood to provide sexual and reproductive health care services, including abortion, through movement building, advocacy, and our political action programs. I want to thank you all for being here. Our worst fears have become a reality today by the Supreme Court's decision to overrule Roe v. Wade and Casey. This decision is a gross injustice, and we should all be outraged. This is about more than abortion. It's about forcing pregnancy and parenthood in circumstances where people may be unwilling, unable, and unprepared to grapple with the economic, the emotional, the physical ramifications that comes with it. This is about government interfering with a person's inherent right to privacy and their ability to make their own decisions about their lives. Deciding to have a child is one of the most important decisions a person will make, and it should be one that is made privately between the person, their loved ones, and their medical professional. It should not be a decision that involves politicians or government. The United States Supreme Court has signaled today that it trusts politicians more than people to make decisions about their lives and their bodies. And this is a disgrace. This decision will adversely impact everyone in our state. There are 2.2 million people of reproductive age here in Michigan that deserve the right to make their own medical decisions. Those 2.2 million Michiganders who come from all walks of life may now be denied the right to basic reproductive care that they need and they deserve to live their fullest and happiest lives. The impact of overturning Roe and Casey will be felt by everyone because 1 in 4 people has had an abortion. This means that we all know and love someone that has needed to make that decision for themselves based on their own life's circumstances that's personal and that we know nothing about. This decision also means that the number of people dealing with obstacles to healthcare would skyrocket, as more people may now be forced to seek abortion out of state and to navigate the costs of traveling hundreds or even thousands of miles. And it could mean people would be forced to carry pregnancies to term, despite their life's circumstances, and in a state with one of the worst maternal mortality rates in the country for Black women. This decision is one that is inhumane, it is harmful, and it is blatantly discriminatory. But we are here today to say that we are fighting back. And we are going to do everything we possibly can to block abortion bans from irreparably harming Michiganders. And we are acting no matter what, because we know a person's right to an abortion is inherently their own and should not be interfered with by government and overreaching politicians, regardless of the Supreme Court's decision. We have a choice in this moment, and that's why we are here as Planned Parenthood Advocates of Michigan and have partnered with the ACLU of Michigan and with Michigan Voices for the Reproductive Freedom for All campaign. And as was stated earlier, this is an effort to enshrine reproductive freedom and the right to an abortion into the Michigan Constitution. And even though a judge has granted a preliminary injunction here in Michigan in Planned Parenthood's lawsuit, the Reproductive Freedom for All Ballot Initiative is still vital and necessary to secure protections for Michiganders well into the future. This is an all of us moment, and we all have a role to play. Thank you. I'll now turn it over to my colleague, Summer Foster at Michigan Voices.
Thank you, Nicole. My name is Summer Foster. I am the co-executive director of Michigan Voices. And I just want to start by saying that I echo the anger and sadness of my colleagues at the Planned Parenthood Advocates of Michigan and at the ACLU of Michigan. The action by the Supreme Court today is devastating and will be felt for generations to come. For some, it is unimaginable that they will now wake up in a world where rights that they have depended on for 5 decades have now been rolled back. No matter where you are in Michigan, from the Upper Peninsula to Detroit, from Muskegon to Macomb County, no matter your economic or faith background, just about everyone knows someone that has had an abortion. The decision to have an abortion is a deeply personal one. It should be made by the folks that need care and their doctors, and it should not be subject to interference by politicians or by judges. It is important to reiterate that people in Michigan right now have the right to seek abortion care due to the preliminary injunction. And while this is a saving grace for many who need care right now, this is not a permanent solution. The Reproductive Freedom for All constitutional amendment affirms that every person has the right to make and carry out decisions about all matters related to pregnancy, including birth control, abortion, prenatal care, and childbirth without political interference. Michigan Voices, the ACLU of Michigan, and Planned Parenthood Advocates of Michigan are using our collective power and resources to protect abortion rights and access to abortion in Michigan, but we still need our friends and our neighbors to join us. This November, we have the right to look today's injustice in the face and tell all of our political and judicial leaders that we refuse to go backwards. We refuse to allow our children to grow up in a country with fewer rights than we had. This is an all hands on deck moment. The Supreme Court has made clear that it's up to us to come together to protect reproductive freedom. This morning, my phone has been ringing off the hook with people that are ready to hit the streets. Over 30,000 people have signed up to get involved in this campaign. Thousands of people are planning to knock on doors, attend community events, farmers markets, to do the work to get the 425,000 signatures that we need to move this campaign forward. But we need you to sign up to help us at mireproductivefreedom.org. I promise you that you do not want to wake up this November and wonder if you could have done more. And I just want to end with this. We were prepared for this due to the leak. But seeing the decision today in black and white has been heartbreaking for Lauren, Nicole, and the more than 35 partners that we have at Michigan Voices that have been working on this issue since last year. Everyone knows someone that has had an abortion, and whether that someone is you or a friend or a family member, we need to make sure that the rights that we had are also available to our future generations, because everyone also knows someone that might need an abortion one day. Thank you.
Thank you, Summer. Just to remind folks, we are recording this. We will share it out. We are sharing it live on our ACLU YouTube page. We're having difficulty with our Facebook Reproductive Freedom for All Facebook page. So look for it there, but it is streaming and we will share it out, the recording. I would like now to open it up for questions. Folks, if you could, and I see many hands raised. I'm going to start with Beth LeBlanc with the Detroit News. And if I miss you, just feel free to interject, but introduce yourself and share your question. Beth, you want to go ahead?
Sure. Thank you so much for making yourself available for this. I guess my question might be for Lauren. It's not necessarily related to the initiative, but I'm curious because I know some of the prosecutors are challenging that preliminary injunction in court, arguing that it shouldn't extend to them because basically they don't fall under the Attorney General's authority. Has the ACLU heard at all of prosecutors around Michigan who plan to enforce this law on the premise that that decision doesn't apply to them?
Thanks for the question, Beth. I think your question actually just emphasizes the importance of the ballot initiative, right? We know that there's a preliminary injunction in place, which is extraordinarily important in this moment because it protects people in Michigan. But what we do know is that we are already facing challenges through prosecutors, through other anti-abortion advocacy groups. And so the importance of moving the ballot initiative forward is really the sort of most enduring option for ensuring that we can protect abortion access and protect reproductive freedom for people across Michigan for generations to come.
Thanks, Lauren. Andy with Mayors.
Yes, thank you very much for taking my question. I actually have two of them. I'm wondering how you guys are planning on dealing with the challenges that are most likely going to be incoming to the petition signatures. And my other question is, are you worried about any signature forgery issues with the petition?
Lauren, do you want to take that?
Sure, I'm happy to take that. We are already preparing for signature challenges. We are anticipating a lot of scrutiny and are confident in the process that we have in place to deal with that, and are paying close attention to ensure that none of the entities engaged in that have been identified as engaged in the fraudulent signature collection have been engaged by this campaign.
Clara Hendrickson, I'm not sure what media organization you're with, if you could let us know.
Sure. I'm with the Detroit Free Press, and thank you all for making yourselves available. Just wondering how many signatures the ballot initiative has collected so far, and if you're hoping to get more than the 425,000 and what that number would be, and then how many volunteers have actually been circulating the petition to obtain signatures. Thanks.
Summer, do you want to take that?
Sure. So we are collecting signatures as we speak. The number changes every day, but I can tell you that we are on track to get this on the ballot, and we will collect over and above 425,000 signatures, knowing that there will be challenges.
Great, thanks. Stella, and again, I'm sorry, I can't see what media outlet you're with, but if you'd like to go next.
Hi, I renamed my Zoom name to Bridge Michigan, so I don't know why it's not showing up. But yeah, Clara asked, one of the questions I wanted to ask, but also beyond the signature gathering for the specific petition on abortion, Justice Clarence Thomas, in his concurring opinion, has said that he thinks the Supreme Court should look at other cases, other precedents that has something to do with, contraceptive access, same-sex sexual relationship, as well as same-sex marriage. So I guess this question is more for probably ACLU, but are you guys anticipating similar, fights in Michigan, be it, a preemptive ballot measure from people who wish to spur changes in those areas? I mean, are you guys anticipating that? And if so, what is the plan?
I can take that. Thank you for the question. I really, I think we've seen as cases have come out of the Supreme Court after the last couple of weeks, we have a lot of fights ahead of us in the coming years in a lot of different areas. And the ACLU will continue its work to protect those fundamental rights to marriage equality and Planned Parenthood will continue its fight to protect reproductive rights, along with Michigan Voices as well, with respect to things like birth control. I really cannot emphasize enough the importance of taking the opportunity to engage in direct democracy here. I think Summer said it beautifully when she said the Supreme Court has called on us to take this to the people of Michigan. And if we can collectively speak and say that it is that abortion access and reproductive freedom are fundamental rights that people in Michigan care about and want to see protected, I think that sets an important precedent for continuing to work together and collectively to protect all of the rights that we know stem from the parts of the Constitution that have been used to protect marriage equality and other fundamental rights.
Thanks, Lauren. Charlotte with Toledo Blade.
Yes, hi. Thanks for having this conference. I was wondering specifically about the preliminary injunction. Do you have any idea how long it will last? A decision will come in the lawsuit about the 1934.
I think you just cut out.
Oh,
You just cut out, Charlotte, but I think your question was about the preliminary injunction and when how long it will be in place.
yes.
Do you want to take that again, Lauren?
I'm happy to have Nicole take that.
Sure.
Actually, I think that probably makes the most sense.
Thank you. The preliminary injunction will be in place until the case is decided. In terms of when we expect for the case to be decided, that all is left up to the court and is in the court's hands. It's something that we have no influence over. And we are truly grateful for the injunction that is in place currently, because it means that we can still see patients and we can still provide abortions. And we are currently at Planned Parenthood planning to continue to do that and planning to see a surge from other states. But as it relates to the answer to your question, as it relates to how long, it's really until the case is decided and something that we do not have any control over.
I have one more question if you have time as well. Out of
Charlotte, you're really cutting out. Do you want to put your question in the chat and I'll go to either, if there's, I know Stella and Andy both have their hands up. If there's other media that have not asked a question who want to, you could raise your hand in the box there. Otherwise, I'll go back to Andy and then Stella. But Charlotte, yeah, just drop your question in the chat. Andy, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, thank you. My question is for Summer. I know you said there were 30,000 people that had already signed up, but is that current? And if that is current, are you expecting a much larger push from today's decision?
Yeah, as I mentioned in my remarks, I've had my phone ringing off the hook this morning, and my staff has been handing out petitions all day long to people who have not yet been involved in collecting signatures. So I expect over the next couple of days that'll go up. And we are already seeing people planning events to get people out and activated around reproductive freedom.
Thank you.
And Charlotte, again, if you want to drop it in the chat or if you want to try again, I don't know how you want to try it again.
Does the audio work now?
I can hear you. Yep. Go ahead.
Do Michigan clinics expect to see increased volume, patient volume for reproductive health or abortion access from neighboring states, such as Ohio, that may be working towards having full bans or heartbeat bans?
You want to go ahead, Nicole?
Sure. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Planned Parenthood is expecting to see an influx of patients needing care because as of 3 hours ago, access to abortion has changed for them, and they no longer have the access that they once had even 3 hours ago. So thanks to the preliminary injunction, Michigan can still provide abortions, and we intend to do that. And we have doctors who are standing by ready to care for patients and do the best that we can to meet the need of those who need us in this moment.
Stella?
Hi, yeah, so just a follow-up question. So what is the state of, clinics that offer abortion services right now? And are you guys seeing or foreseeing clinic closure? I feel like there have been talks, even after the leaked draft, that clinics might close and not offer services anyways, and is an expectation of the downfall. But now that it has actually happened, what is the state of abortion in the current state? And are you guys seeing clinic closures already?
You want me to take that, Ann? Okay. We can't speak to the closures because right now we are in a position in Michigan that is a bit unique to other states across the country. We have this preliminary injunction in place that has been provided by the courts. It is in place and allows all abortion providers in our state to continue to provide abortions. So even though it was granted in the case that Planned Parenthood brought, it pertains to the entire state of Michigan and any abortion provider in the state of Michigan who can operate within this preliminary injunction. And so we won't know the answer to that question until the case is decided. And we're going to hold out until that happens so that we know truly once the case is decided in the court as to how we will proceed as abortion providers.
Is that Amy Lang with Fox 2?
Actually, my name is Amy Fox. I'm sorry. I'm with Wood TV in Grand Rapids.
Sorry,
but
thanks.
My question is related to the most recent one. For clinics and abortion providers in Michigan right now, have you seen any concerns about them being able to maintain insurance coverage and the doctors being able to maintain their rights? And what do you anticipate might happen in the future with that?
Nicole, do you want to take that again?
Sure. I think, the answer to that question is really similar to the answer that we provided. We have been able to maintain our status here in Michigan. And so abortion providers and insurance coverage and licensure has not been impacted by this decision immediately because of the temporary injunction. So it doesn't allow the 1931 to be enforced at any level. And so the answer to your question will be also decided, I think, once the case is decided in court.
Thanks, Nicole. I'm seeing there may be a question in the chat. I'm just surfing through the chat here, but anybody else who has a question, feel free to introduce yourself and ask your question. Andy again?
Sorry, I feel like I'm monopolizing. My question is in regards to the opposition saying that this ballot initiative gives abortion to all 9 months of pregnancy. How do you respond to that?
Lauren or Nicole? Anyone can take this?
Sure, I'm happy to take it. So the constitutional amendment preserves the standard that we're familiar with in Roe, as well as ensuring that beyond just the fundamental right to abortion, that the right to make decisions concerning pregnancy are protected as a fundamental right. And within the state constitution. And so what the constitutional amendment would do is preserve the standard that we have been familiar with in this country for the last 50 years.
Thank you.
Clara?
Great. Just a quick follow-up question. As you all know, Governor Whitmer has filed a lawsuit arguing that the state constitution already protects the right to an abortion. So if you could just explain how this amendment would enshrine a right that Whitmer is arguing is already in the state constitution.
And whoever wants to take that, go for it.
Let's summary. Oh, so thanks for that, Charlotte. I'm sorry, I missed who that question came from, or Clara. Thank you. It is important that people have the right to have the opportunity to reinforce the constitutional right to abortion and have it explicitly stated in the Constitution, which is what this state constitutional amendment would do.
Thanks, Lauren and Clara. Any other questions?